king of celebrity marketing.
You have SRK, Mahesh Babu,
Yes.
Saurabh Ganguly. Right before Denver,
I was rather the most indisciplined person.
2008 में Denver launch किया था.
Frustration, आंसू, सब कुछ आया है, दुख हुआ है.
There a formula you have cracked how you really transmit.
जितना बोर होगे ना उतने आइडियाज आएंगे आपको.
So welcome to धंधे की बात बजाज के साथ. And today we have a very interesting conversation. We have a very special guest who is Mr. Saurabh Gupta, the owner of Denver DEO, the leading deodorant company of India. And we have done a lot of interesting conversations around advertising, celebrity endorsement, building a brand from scratch, how to really distribute it in different geographies, pan-India, across the globe, and what are the challenges an entrepreneur faces, कैसे उन challenges को overcome भी करना है, how to have that spirit of not giving up, because बहुत बार entrepreneur की journey में आता है कि ना आंसू आते हैं, and you can relate to that. There are many times, and you need the support system, how you can really foster the team, make the team thrive, and also have a longer vision, a bigger vision, so that the drive, the hunger is keep going, and that gets you going. So there are a lot of interesting things that you're going to decode as we unfold in this episode. I really urge you that attend this episode, listen to this episode with a lot of sincerity, have a diary and a pen, because अगर आप धंधे वाले आदमी हो ना, आपको बहुत सारी चीज़ें मिलने वाली हैं इस एपिसोड के अंदर जो आप एक्चुअली प्रैक्टिकली जाके अप्लाई कर सकते हो, एंड यू कैन रियली ग्रो एज अ बिजनेस, एज अ ब्रांड. Hi Saurabh ji.
Hi, how are you?
Very well. How are you?
All well, thanks. All well. How was with me? कैसे चल रहा है?
एकदम
Great.
Very good. Very good.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Our pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
It's great. It's great. It's good to interact.
Yeah.
Amazing. I've been so looking forward since we decided the shoot. So looking forward to meet you, talk to you, because it is like, I know, like a Bible of a lot of things that is going to come.
Right.
And our audience is majorly entrepreneurs.
Fantastic.
सब धंधे वाले लोग हैं.
Very good.
जिन लोग को, और more if I say growth hungry entrepreneurs, जिन लोग को ना आग है,
Right.
आगे बढ़ना है, grow करना है, brand बनाना है.
That's great.
So I think there is a lot they can learn.
Fantastic.
Right.
Fantastic.
So you started Denver. You've in a way put India at a global map,
Right.
I should say, because India से perfume brands बहुत ज़्यादा globally नहीं गए.
जी.
And when you started Denver, I remember 2008, I was reading about it, and तब तक भी the whole perfume deodorant industry in India was still growing.
Yes.
मतलब it was not a mature or a very mature industry.
Right.
So what led you to start Denver or a deo brand? बहुत research किया था, कुछ market trend study किए थे. What led you to get started the journey?
So we were already in the perfume segment, we were in the category, in the mass perfume segment we were playing. And we were still growing, because we were pretty small that time as a company, and we were looking for opportunities. So that time aerosol had just gone aggressive, because there were multinationals and there were Indian companies which were introducing new brands and new products, and slowly the aerosol was picking up. And for us, coming from the perfumery side, it was not so difficult to pivot into deodorant, because we had to only change the packaging and some new formulation, and the product was pretty much the same, which is fragrance. So that was simple for us, on the back end. So
Okay.
we thought, why not we get into it? So we started the deodorant in Feb in 2008, and we got some decent results, in sales. So when we did the pilot, we got some decent results, so we started scaling up, and that's when we thought we should make an advertising campaign for this. And in June 2008, we started the campaign, and I think rest is history. Yeah.
Right. तो तब तक perfume business में you were already there, and aerosols you started. And तब आपकी क्या age थी in 2008? Like how young were you?
Must be, I think, 25.
So you had already joined the business.
Yeah,
It was
I
like a
working
family.
2005, yeah.
Wow.
Oh wow.
So at the age of 22, 23, basically you.
Yeah, 22 I started.
Okay.
And we started sales. We launched a skincare brand, which did not burn. Crashed and burned in 2005. 2006 we crashed and burned. So we pivoted with our distribution and our bandwidth towards perfumery, mass market perfumes, which did well for us. So while it was doing well, so we thought, okay, let's scale that up. And we were building up the distribution slowly. It was a very uphill task because no one knew us. So it was not easy because कोई हमें जानता नहीं था, तो हम किसी के पास जाते थे तो credit terms and trade terms were very very difficult. I mean they were pretty much ऐसे कि पैसे आएंगे ही नहीं कभी मार्केट से, मतलब ऐसा लगता था. But धीरे धीरे with time, with struggle, धीरे धीरे चीजें होती गई ठीक. And फिर the deodorant thing happened in 2008. That sort of turned around everything for us.
पर ये हमेशा डिसाइडेड था कि धंधे में ही आना है, बिजनेस में आना है, इवन एट 22 और.
No, it was never decided. Actually, I was already I was in the job space, and I was sort of working, and I was still figuring out what I have to do.
Right.
Then my parents helped me here, in this direction. Then why don't you see what we are doing and have a look? So when I understood what they were doing, the more I was trying to understand, I was not able to figure out anything. So that's when I went back and did like a master's in business and marketing, and which helped me. So that's what really helped me to understand what business is about. And ultimately, I figured out that it is doable. And when in 2005 I did the skincare, तो हमने प्रगति मैदान ट्रेड शो में हमने लगाया था स्टॉल और अपना स्किन केयर ब्रांड को हमने बहुत मतलब एक स्टार्टअप लेवल पे वी प्रेजेंटेड इट. एंड उसमें मुझे याद है बेबी कि वी डिड अबाउट 35,000 रुपीज़ ऑफ सेल in that show in 15 days, and it was ecstatic, as a student coming from a engineering background, then studying marketing and starting this, and 35,000 of sales in 14 days was beautiful. It was like I thought that yes, I have discovered myself, or ek ho gaya I have arrived, established as a student, but जैसे आगे बढ़ते हैं you figure out that life is much tougher than that. It was so difficult because no one knew us. So distributors were not ready to work with us. कोई भी जानता नहीं था हमें. So to open the first distributor was such a big trouble. I can't even explain you. It was a big struggle, for us. But धीरे धीरे लगे रहे तो हो गया. Important है कि to not stop. लगे रहो आप. If you believe what you're doing, I think.
But ये 3 years में you decided कि skincare is not my cup of tea.
Within 1 year. Within 1 year, because
ऐसा क्यों हुआ?
ऐसा इसलिए हुआ क्योंकि when we did the mathematics on the stock carrying capacity and the whatever inventory is required on every retailer, whatever inventory is required on distributor level, plus the perishable nature of skincare. Especially we were in the herbal space. That time herbal was a big rage. And herbal products की थोड़ी सी shelf life का issues थे if you're doing honest products.
Right.
So there was a lot of issue in that space. So I figured out that this is not our space, and actually we were not able to really crack the market because already there were giants like Shehnaz Hussain, there were other multinationals also, plus Indian brands, the large brands like, for example, there was Nature Essence and all these kind of brands, so they were very aggressive that time. So it was very difficult to do something back then because a lot of brands had come in then. Even Biotic was already pretty established that time.
अच्छा.
So it was generally tough. It was not easy.
You decided कि this is, so ये niche identify हो गया था कि we are not there, and then we want to move to aerosol.
So I feel that you should not, if you are able to face the reality, that is important. I think as an entrepreneur, it's important to face the reality and not shy away from it, and not be egoistic or arrogant about your decisions. I think it's important to read into the market and take your course correction ASAP, because the later you are, it causes unrepairable damage to your books, to yourself also.
Right.
Because the deeper you'll go and you put good money after bad money, I think it can really hound you.
Yeah, and for business owner, I think it's a big challenge to accept कि ये नहीं हो रहा and now I have to, move to something else because
100%.
right.
That also needs courage, I think.
It is the most courageous thing when you decide that I have to shut shop or I have to shut an SKU. I think because whenever an entrepreneur starts, I think, and not just me, anyone on this planet starts with a new product, starts with a big dream. So
Right.
before that is the dream, and then with the dream you start that product and category, and you go after it, and it's very difficult to return empty-handed. Rather we lost money,
Lost
that you are,
money.
we had no bags and आपका बैग मार लिया किसी ने आपके लिए, और उसको आप खाली हाथ वापस आ रहे हो घर पे. It is not
देख के
easy.
ही आ रहे
Negative
हो.
है. You've lost some time, some years.
एंड विश्वास,
something.
लोगों का विश्वास,
लोगों का
घर का
विश्वास.
विश्वास, या जिनके भी पैसे लगे हुए हैं उनका विश्वास टूटता है कहीं ना कहीं, या हिलता है, डगमगाता है. बट द पॉइंट इज दैट यू शुड नॉट लूज द साइट ऑफ रियलिटी एंड ऑफ योर सेल्फ, ऑफ योर एक्शंस. बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि अगर आप बह जाओगे तो फिर बचा ही क्या.
Wow.
It's very important, to have some self control on your actions. You can't be saying yahi theek hai. But when you are right, when you can really see that yes, there is some light at the end of the tunnel, then you must go after it and you must run. मतलब जितनी जान हो आपके अंदर उतनी जान से भागना चाहिए. अगर आपको दिख रही है वो रोशनी, जब रोशनी नहीं दिख रही तो उसके पीछे नहीं भागना चाहिए.
और रोशनी दिख रही है पर लोगों का करेज नहीं आ रहा भागने का. Then
करेज नहीं आया तो स्लो डाउन, डोंट बर्न योरसेल्फ. आपके लिमिटेड रिसोर्सेज हैं तो उनको सेव करो, धीरे धीरे चलो.
but keep moving.
Keep moving, yeah, because there's no harm in that. कोई चीज 10 साल में अचीव हो रही है, कुछ लोग चाहते कि 1 साल में हो जाए. इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल. कई बार वो ठीक है 10 साल में ही होती है. सो कीप गोइंग. there's no harm in that. You can speed up. कोई कहीं ना कहीं मौके मिलते हैं to speed up. You get certain bonus points in certain opportunities जहाँ पर आपको लगता है कि yes, I can speed up my thing, and then wait for those times. But keep going. Don't stop. Keep moving.
Right.
So basically patience, perseverance भी important है, पर जहाँ लगे कि अब यहाँ मेरा गेम बन रहा है वहाँ फिर पूरी जान लगा दो. दोनों चीज़ों का बैलेंस जो आदमी समझ ले वही गेम.
पेशेंस बहुत क्रिटिकल है इसके अंदर, क्योंकि बहुत टाइम क्या होता है स्टार्टअप्स में भी कि आप बहुत सारे एक्शन करो, रिजल्ट्स नहीं आएंगे या बहुत टाइम काम ही नहीं होगा कुछ, तो छोड़ के नहीं भागना मैदान. डटे रहो, बैठे रहो. जितना आप बोर होगे ना उतने आइडियाज आएंगे आपको. अगर आप बोर नहीं होगे आपको आइडियाज ही नहीं आएंगे. यू विल नॉट पुश योर माइंड. आई हैव आल्सो सीन इफ द बोर्डम इज नॉट देयर, यू विल नॉट पुश योर हेड, पुश योर माइंड फॉर न्यू आइडियाज. आइडियाज ही नहीं आएंगे बिकॉज यू आर नॉट रियली पुशिंग योरसेल्फ, क्योंकि आपको प्रेशर ही फील नहीं हो रहा कोई. जब आप बोर होते हो द प्रेशर इज एट इट्स पीक.
That's when you sit and ideate. So
Yeah,
from
you like and then you pivot, and that's when the results come. It's important to get frustrated. It's very important.
So from failed skincare to now Denver, Envy, Pour Home, Venisa, just in like 15, 16 years. What a journey, incredible journey it has been.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
थोड़ा सा उससे पहले की जर्नी भी जाननी है मुझे कि लाइफ आफ्टर डेनवर एंड ऑफ कोर्स यू मस्ट हैव इवॉल्व्ड, एवरीवन ऑन दिस जर्नी वुड इवॉल्व एज अ पर्सन और बहुत सारी चीज़ों में. बट आई नो यू फॉर सम टाइम, आई सी गाइडेंस ऑल्सो.
Right.
यू आर ऑलवेज वेरी डिसिप्लिन, वेरी फोकस्ड, ऑलवेज टॉकिंग इन नंबर्स. बड़ा एक ऑरा है आपका. एंड इफ आई से लाइफ बिफोर डेनवर और व्हेन यू वर अ स्टूडेंट इन स्कूल कॉलेज, तब भी ऐसा ही था फोकस काम के ऊपर, पढ़ाई के ऊपर, नंबर्स के ऊपर, या सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन? मतलब is this something you are having or is it something that evolved as you grew
Right,
in your
I think
entrepreneurship?
I was not so disciplined. I was rather the most indisciplined person. बिल्कुल भी पढ़ाई में भी ज़्यादा ध्यान नहीं लगाता था. But there was a point when I was in England, when I was studying. Some points had come. Some people I had met during my life. My classmates, etc., who pushed me in a certain direction. And I think they saw in me what I couldn't see. And they pushed me towards working hard. And वो बोलते थे तू आपस मीटिंग में बैठ जा. बस ग्रुप मीटिंग है ना, जस्ट यू कम, दैट्स इट, यू सिट, दैट्स ऑल, कुछ नहीं करना, तू आ जा. एंड आई रियलाइज अल्टीमेटली मेरे को सिर्फ टाइम ही देना है. एंड दैट्स व्हेन आई डिस्कवर्ड माई सेल्फ कि मेरे को अगर मैं किसी चीज़ को टाइम दूंगा तो इट विल कन्वर्ट इनटू वर्क. मुझे टाइम ही देना है.
And is that what you still do in business?
या बस मुझे टाइम ही देना है. बस मुझे उस चीज़, लाइक फॉर एनी टास्क और एनी जॉब, आई हैव टू सिट एंड वर्क और थिंक, लाइक यू कैन से थिंक टुवर्ड्स इट और फाइंड a solution towards it एंड अल्टीमेटली जिसको लोग जॉब बोलते हैं, जिसको लोग काम बोलते हैं, बस अल्टीमेटली दैट्स सो काम नहीं है. काम बेसिकली यू हैव टू जस्ट स्पेंड टाइम ऑन इट. यू नो, चाहे कोई भी हो, चाहे कोई कैलकुलेशन हो, किसी से हिसाब करना हो, या कोई आइडिया निकालना है नया, या कोई क्रिएटिव सोचना है, तो अल्टीमेटली यू जस्ट हैव टू स्पेंड टाइम ऑन इट. एक्चुअली कोई लिटरली काम नहीं है. काम तो वो है ना जहाँ पर आपने लिटरली कोई गड्ढा खोदना है, या यू नो यू आर डूइंग लाइक आई एम फ्रॉम इंजीनियरिंग साइड, तो यू आर बिल्डिंग समथिंग हाथ से. आप यू नो यू आर वर्किंग ऑन द CNC मशीन्स और लेथ मशीन्स, और यू आर रियली डूइंग डिजाइन, एक्चुअली वर्किंग. वैसा काम तो वैसा प्रैक्टिकल, या इट इज जस्ट अ माइंड थिंग एंड इट इज फिजिकली यू आर सिटिंग. सो एज सच कोई बहुत हार्ड वर्क नहीं है, बट येस यू हैव टू स्पेंड टाइम ऑन दैट डेस्क and the job will be done eventually, because since you are sitting, you will ideate, you think about it, and you will find a solution. And ऐसे ही मैं करता चला गया. You know, yes, field में भी बहुत काम किया है, but that was, I would say, physical work. Then I found much simpler. क्योंकि मुझे कहीं भेज दो फील्ड में तो मेरे को सिंपल लगती है वो जॉब, rather than sitting and doing, because when you're sitting, you thinking again and again, it becomes you're challenging yourself in your thoughts. You know, to do better. I think that is more tiring sometimes. You know, but having said that, I was not such a disciplined person. But of course, ek bari when you start advertising, which we happened in 2008, and then we started getting data and try to become data oriented. Once you become data oriented, automatically, I think you have sort of tasted blood. फिर you can't stop. टेस्टेड ब्लड मतलब कि when like a young you know, you can say any animal is born, let's say a lion cub or a tiger cub, unless until they have tasted blood, they don't go and hunt. So once they have tasted blood, because you know it is so addictive that you go after it. Yeah, it's true. And the whole data game, you know, the whole thing is that when you're able to gamify your operations.
कन्वेंशनली मैंने दो तरह के एंटरप्रेन्योर्स देखे हैं. एक होते हैं बहुत डेटा ड्रिवन, और एक है बहुत गट ड्रिवन या इंट्यूशन ड्रिवन या फील ड्रिवन या फील गुड क्या हो रहा है. सो यू हैव ऑलवेज बीन दैट data driven, and you still
I am slightly more data driven, I would say.
You also go with
because when you are running a company and there are so many responsibilities on you, it is important to not fail. Wow. So when I started off as on my job or whatever I'm doing right now as an entrepreneur, plan B was never an option. There was no plan B. So you have to be so serious about what you're doing कि plan B ही ना हो, plan A ही होना चाहिए. मगर as a leader you must have a plan B. So it is very difficult to draw that line within yourself, but only go after the plan A. कि plan A ही है, B है नहीं.
Right.
जब तक दम ना निकल जाए, and then you reveal your plan B. So the plan B is about.
ऐसे moments आए कभी कि
बहुत
you were breaking down?
बहुत मतलब because आंसू आए, मतलब कई बारी literally frustration, आंसू सब कुछ आया है, दुख हुआ है, and but luckily my parents have been very supportive, that don't worry, things will turn out well, because ultimately the outside world is ruthless. They don't care, you know. So your struggle and all is your own struggle. That's your own emotion, your own feelings. Either you caress them or you kill them and move forward. So there's no point of getting emotional about things. Must move forward, you know, and try to satisfy everyone's, you can say, interest. You know, be it your distributors, be it your team, be it your consumer. सबका interest आपको cover करते हुए चलना है.
Right.
You know, वो आप ही कर सकते हो, कोई नहीं कर सकता. So you have to find those solutions, take those decisions where you are able to hit that balance point where everyone is satisfied, and still you are able to make money, or you are able to run your company, you know, healthily. So that's where the whole thing is.
So those initial years जब hustle होता है, ये सब challenges आते हैं, any particular incident you can think of where you felt broken कि भाई नहीं हो रहा, this is not clicking? ऐसा हुआ
Yeah,
कभी?
yeah, yeah. There have been many times. There was one time I remember, it was not so directly to business, but what happened was we had a burglary in our office, and all our computers were stolen.
Oh.
And it was so devastating. I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you. It was, I think, the most devastating thing for that time, because you have just stopped. At least the HO. Plus, luckily, the field was there. The field people were working. The sales team was there. So at least that was the saving grace. So that is when I realized actually what my company is. It is not the office. It is the company. It's the team which is outside, out there, who needs sales. So these certain things, they give you a perspective. First, you think that you are what you are, but eventually you understand that you are actually not what the company is. The company is much bigger. You are just a small piece in it now, as the company starts growing. So such you can say setbacks make you realize, make you dismantle the entire system in your brain, and then you realize where you are, and then you see that ultimately the system will go on, and you have to mend yourself.
And the system also
You have to
supports you
fix
in a
your
way.
feelings and all that, and just move on.
Right.
Just move on. So हार मानने का तो सवाल ही नहीं है.
And that also comes from a larger purpose, like you said, for your people, for distributors, for your
Yeah,
team,
everyone.
say consumers, right?
And for your family, you have
For your
some
family.
responsibilities. You can't be just you can't keep changing, keep moving from here and there. And it's about consistency. I think one thing I would like to say that you have to be consistent about yourself, about your thoughts. You can't be here and there again and again.
Wow.
Kabhi left, kabhi right, kabhi left, kabhi right, because that either you're shifting categories, or you're changing designs, or you're changing your campaigns, or changing team. You have to settle little bit, and give things time, nurture them, and things will show up. Eventually you'll know if it's right or wrong, and then you'll be able to find a pattern somewhere in your actions, and you will find the actions which are working. Then of course you pick those actions and speed them up.
Right.
Which
What's
are
working, usko
Yeah,
speed
speed
it up.
speed it up. Like a lot of people say nowadays, fail fast. I really believe that. I really believe in it. You must do so many things so that the outcome is in front of you as soon as possible, so that you are able to
Filter
scale
out.
up. Yeah, filter out and scale up.
Improvise जो भी.
Yeah, improvise and scale up right there. Because every day is passing by, and it is only making it difficult to achieve your targets. So
Every
you also
passing
better
day.
mood. Yeah, so it's better
So
that
true.
you also move fast. Because as every day we lose, it sort of makes it tougher to achieve your target. The target seems much farther away. So it's better to start early. It's very important to start early on anything and any planning or anything you are doing. The sooner you start, because then you have time for negotiations. For example, you want to set up a factory. The sooner you start, you are able to identify the land, you are able to negotiate well. Because on last minute, everything is going to be so dearer, so much more expensive to the company. So whatever you plan, if you have, whatever thoughts you get, start planning immediately. Start working towards it, and sooner you have results, at least you have simulation of that. You can make a on paper simulation of your decisions. So some picture you will get that, okay, this is right or wrong. At least that is important.
Right.
But sooner the better. Because you should not sit on it कि मैं बनाऊंगा, देखूंगा, यार अभी जाऊंगा, देखूंगा, क्या होगा, अच्छा उससे बात करता हूँ, उससे रेट लेता हूँ.
Defer ही होता
तो
रहेगा.
जितना जल्दी कर लोगे, उतना बढ़िया है. Because at least you'll be able to cook your thoughts better. And it's good to have cooked food.
हाँ, और खुद से नहीं टाइम निकल रहा तो मे बी assign a dedicated resource उससे करवा के.
Whichever, but I think there are a lot of tasks you must do yourself. Because whatever ideas you're getting, no one else will get. The ideas you're getting, and it's important to satisfy your own questions, your own queries, yourself. A lot of them. Because how else yes, you trust your team, you have faith and everything, that's great. But still, there are a lot of things, unless until you see yourself, it's hard to believe, So I think I come from that. So I try to do a lot of things myself, so that they're pre-cooked, at least, for my team to have.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel our dimension of thinking would be very different than what maybe
Yeah.
a team, a person who's just fulfilling a job responsibility is doing it.
Yes.
And we are looking at the bigger picture.
That's true. I mean, sometimes the team also is looking at the bigger picture, but we are not able to
Absolutely.
believe that our team is also believing,
Yeah.
looking at the macro.
That's
It's
also
hard.
true.
So it is
Correct.
with time you are able to connect that. You have to build that connection with your team, that they are able to also have the same flight as you. They are able to fly at the same altitude with you and see the macro picture.
पर बहुत ही चैलेंजिंग है ये चीज़. जब आपने अपनी जर्नी स्टार्ट करी होगी, आई एम श्योर यू आर बिल्डिंग द टीम.
जी.
सेल्स टीम के साथ भी अपना हैंग करना, ट्रांसमिटिंग आवर आइडियाज, आवर विजन इनटू देम. Many times everyone wants to do this because सबको जब जो आदमी ग्रो कर रहा है उसको और
Yes,
हाथ
yes.
चाहिए और
Yes,
पैर
yes.
चाहिए.
Yes.
But is there a formula you have cracked how you really transmit your vision into your team from top to bottom? ऐसा कुछ?
Not so much. There is no such formula, to be very honest, because each individual is different. So each team member has a different temperament. How you have to reach out. So you have to find your own way to reach out to them. And mostly, see, everyone is about what is in for them. I think when you are able to hit that, I think they are aligned. And one is, of course, whoever is coming to work is trying to raise a family,
Right.
etc. So
Yeah, give his best. Give their best.
yeah, and when they are here to raise a family, etc. And ultimately, it's about growth. So if you are able to explain to them that there is growth and you are able to deliver if they deliver. Right. So many times I use a terminology कि अगर घड़े में होगा तभी तो मिलेगा सबको, और उसी घड़े से सबको मिलना है, तो होगा तभी मिलेगा. So this is the simple story. As we are growing, our team is growing, our needs are growing, ad भी करना है, खर्चे भी करने हैं, रिसर्च भी करनी है, सब all the things have to be done. तो वो कैसे होगा? So this is how I try to align them, and it sort of works because ultimately it's important to address what they are looking for.
Right.
That's what is most
What's in
important
it for
thing.
them?
Yeah, what's in it for them. And for many times when, rather I would say most of the times when I've hired people, my main concern is not today. It's when the time for appraisal come, and and year on year, how I have to build that person's career so that he is able to, happily be with us, contribute with the company. Secondly, how he is able to grow his own career with us. That is more important because today is already gone, pretty much. It was based on the past.
Right.
But now, whatever will come in future is based on what he or she will contribute. So it's it's critical. So these are few ways when how I think I approach to my team, and because ultimately it's important to look after the future. Everyone is looking at what is my future here. I think that is.
I think very important. I think for all entrepreneurs to look for
It's
their
not about
future.
today. It's not about today or next week or next month. It's really about after 1 year when the appraisal will come. What is the future of this individual? And somewhere I feel as a leader of an organization, it is my responsibility, to give them the career which they never had, because that part they have never had before. So to motivate them, and to learn and contribute and make sure that the company and the organization is able to see that, that upgradation, and is able to, the company is able to fulfill the needs. Because that is important, that is critical, isn't it?
Right.
Once that is done, then what else we need? We need satisfaction, happiness.
And that's when people stay for a year on longer period.
Why not? Not just stay and thrive.
Yeah, thrive. I think the best life.
Stay is very basic. It's about thrive. They should enjoy, they should love, and they should say yes. That's when they will fight a war with you. Because ultimately it's a war out there. You know, it's not about, I'm not using the word firefighting, it's a war.
Amazing.
Firefighting could be some contingencies, but it's a perpetual war, you know. So the team must be ready on everyday basis that yes, they are ready for that war. You know, we must fight it out.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I just I hope, you know.
2-3 चीजें मेरे दिमाग में आ रही हैं which I'm very very curious to know.
Right.
In your early days, you have spent a lot of time on ground also
Right.
with team. You must have observed a lot about their behavior, their
Of course,
needs, how
of
they
course.
want to grow. And right now, as we talk, अगर हम FMCG इंडस्ट्री की बात करें ना, कंपनीज का सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज ही हो गया कि एफिशिएंट स्पेशली सेल्स के लोग नहीं मिलते. बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है ये कि सेल्स की टीम अच्छी नहीं मिलती, उनको ट्रेन नहीं किया जाता है, ट्रेन करता हूँ वो चले जाते हैं, ऑल ऑफ दैट. एंड एज ऑफ नाउ आई नो यू हैव लाइक मल्टीपल 1000 पीपल ऑन फील्ड ऑन फीट वर्किंग फॉर यू. क्या चीज़ें हैं? इज इट द हायरिंग प्रोसेस? क्या उसको पहले ही आप ग्रोथ पाथ उसका करियर शो करते हैं? हाउ डू यू मेक देम स्टिक? Or is there something you've discovered which makes them stick? And how do you even hire? Because ये बहुत बड़ा challenge है.
So, see, hiring I've already explained to you, but see, idea is, I think, in particular in sales, we are not very hasty. That abhi they have joined, let's say they have joined on the 1st, and within 30 days or 60 days they have to turn around the magic. You know, so firstly, don't be hasty, be patient. Secondly, start giving them certain pointers, very minimal pointers, on which your company stands for. It could be anything.
Like Denver में कैसे देते हैं आप? क्या
So
point
like for us in Denver, it's about that we don't have to go out and work outside the policies of the company. If you're not able to function, let us know. But you don't have to worry about that. Don't function outside the policies of the company. That is the first thing, because and that really takes a long time for them to understand, because they have worked in the past with someone and they have had some kind of gurus in sales, and there are certain tricks everyone teaches, you know, which is fine. But I feel like every family is different. Similarly, every company is different. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन अ फैमिली, किसी में इस मंडे को मंदिर जा रहे हैं, किसी में ट्यूसडे को मंदिर जा रहे हैं, किसी में फ्राइडे को मंदिर जा रहे हैं, तो ज़रूरी नहीं है कि यू नो हर फैमिली जैसी हो, हर कंपनी जैसी हो. सब जगह एक कल्चर होता है, यू नो. सो इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट कल्चर. एज सुन एज यू आर अलाइन्ड विद द कल्चर, थिंग्स स्टार्ट लुकिंग अप. यू स्टार्ट सीइंग द वे द मैनेजमेंट इज सीइंग, एंड ऑटोमेटिकली थिंग्स गेट अलाइन्ड, यू नो. Like for example, when I started sales, no one knew us, you know. So we used to start advertising in magazines. तो हम magazines की copies ले जाते थे sales में, दिखाते थे shopkeepers को, देखो हमारे ad आ रहे हैं, you know. हम company serious है, company काम कर रही है, because it was very difficult for them to understand that yes, who is this guy, who are these people, ये क्या product है, because they don't know anything. So it was
especially rural में तो I think
anywhere. बल्कि more so in metro, because every day some new launch is happening. Metro is the first thing, you know. In general, most of the products are launched in metro only. So pretty much everyone is looking at metro, you know. So it becomes very difficult for you to survive, and survive your build that face value, build that name value. It is very very difficult, almost impossible. And so those magazine ads used to help, and that's when I realized the importance of advertising, because it's important to, you know, for them to know that yes, the companies are making efforts to create that demand. So you know, one is for trade and one is for your consumers. So both advertising are important.
let's talk about advertising.
Why not?
Yeah.
एक चीज़ आपने बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बोली. बहुत बार ना जब कंपनी ग्रो कर रही है, यू डोंट अंडरस्टैंड कि आपको कोई कैंपेन बनाना है, वो ट्रेड के लिए बनाया जाए या कंज्यूमर के लिए बनाया जाए. क्योंकि एंटरप्रेन्योर एम्बिशियस है तो उसको तो लगता है कि कंज्यूमर है, लेकिन ट्रेड के बिना आगे नहीं बढ़ सकते. सो हाउ डू यू डिफरेंशिएट?
जो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स होते हैं वो ट्रेड के लिए बनाते हैं, कंज्यूमर के लिए कम ही एड
बनती है.
यू नो, ब्रांड बिल्डिंग तो बहुत बाद में होती है, बट सबसे पहले लोग ट्रेड के लिए एड्स बनाते हैं. schemes. They will talk about their offers and schemes, and they will talk about all the features in the schemes, in their ads, which is slightly difficult for someone to understand. But see, ultimately, the trade does not want to know what your scheme is. They want to know that yes, you are putting money for creating a demand.
Right.
Actually, that's what the trade wants
कि
to know.
आपका प्रोडक्ट रख के ट्रेड को कोई बेनिफिट होगा, the product will
Sell or not.
Right.
Will someone come and buy this product or not? That is the trade's question. And which you have to sort of answer, but still work on the larger picture of creating demand. You know, so let's say if you are addressing trade, you can change your certain, let's say, marketing mix, but changing a lot of advertising for trade will be very difficult. But in some for example, some categories, like say insurance or finance or whatever, in that I have seen that they are very trade oriented also, because traders are very, it's a larger thing for them, you know. They are more, not very retail oriented, they are more B2B oriented. So to each his own, but for us especially, creating demand and building the brand, that is the primary purpose, you know. So but trade, yes, trade for them, marketing mix can always differ.
बट आपने ना जैसे 2008 में डेनवर लॉन्च किया था एंड 2011 you hired Saif. During this period, Saif was the first brand ambassador, am I
Yeah,
right?
so actually we got Saif Ali Khan in 2014.
Okay.
To correct, yeah. So 2014 we brought Saif Ali Khan to advertise for us.
In this journey, when was the time you felt that moment, you know, एक entrepreneur को पता चल जाता है, yes, I have hit the right chord and this is now the brand has taken off. ये कैसे आपको एहसास हुआ? What was the moment?
So that had come much earlier, in 2008 only.
Okay.
Because 2008, I remember before advertising, we had about 25
Distributors only. And we had started advertising. It was only 3 months campaign, and by the end of those 3 months, we had about 100. We had added more than 100 new distributors, and that is when I realized that this is the point. That yes, things are working, and we have added distribution, and within 3 months of campaign, this is the result. And naturally, it has turned out into a good cash flow also. The monthly RR had improved immediately, you know, and we, from the previous year, we had jumped more than 3.5 times that time.
Wow.
So that was just the right thing, as I told you. Yeah, advertising was when you tasted blood, when the data starts coming in, you know, and फिर आपको clarity भी हो जाती है that whatever is going, you know, the resources you are putting in, how it's translating into business. So that connection, that whatever आपने सिक्का डाला मशीन में, उस मशीन ने करा क्या? So when you are able to see the output, and if you are able to see that that output is favorable, naturally आप उस मशीन में सिक्के डालते जाओगे. That is advertising.
पर at that level, brand is getting started, 25 distributor है अभी, तो उस टाइम पे क्या ad campaign किया था first जो एकदम 3.5?
So that time, I think there were less advertisers. There were very few advertisers. I think that was the first thing. Secondly, the ad was very simple. It was about a person. He sprays the Denver DEO in the bathroom, and he gets transported to a beach, and where he's like, you know, enjoying water sports. So it was that feeling of freshness.
And ये तब ऐसा भी था कि बीच पे लोग ज़्यादा DO use करते थे. That's why you made that, no?
It was not like that. It was not like that. I think it was more to do with, as I told you, the feeling of freshness. So we were trying to connect.
Build that way.
Yeah. So this person is transported. Somewhere it was inspired by Old Spice, I can say. Somewhere back then, because there used to be a surfing campaign.
Yeah.
Many years back.
Right.
You know,
Their logo
we were
also
all
had
kids
that
then.
yacht.
I think that was somewhere in my head, which, you know, which I wanted to do, but
सही.
I was not even close. But at least we tried.
As long
and
as
it worked.
सिक्का डाल के सही चीज आ रही है.
Luckily, it did well.
It
so
worked.
since it worked, so then we kept on doing it, and then we have another campaign in 2009, and then 10, and then multiple campaigns, and so many campaigns every year we do.
So we to call you the king of celebrity marketing. I think there's no big name in the industry of
No,
not
ऐसा
from.
कुछ नहीं है. It's not me actually. I think there's so many other companies which are associated with celebrities, and they do a lot of campaigning. We are just one of them. Definitely not the king.
No, but I mean, you have SRK, you worked with Akshay,
He is the king,
Saif,
of course. He is the king. Now
you
you're right.
know,
So you must say that Shark. We are working with the king.
you're working with all the kings and
Yeah,
the
you
queens,
can.
Kareena,
Yes, yes, yes.
and other big names of the
Yeah.
industry. And even in regional, I know you worked with Sandeep, Mahesh Babu,
Yes, yes, yes.
Saurav Ganguly, in fact,
yes.
all these names.
Yes, yes,
So, कितना important है celebrity endorsement आपके हिसाब से brand building
Especially
के
for
लिए?
an SME business, yeah, Indian homegrown
Yeah,
brand.
so it is important because it brings instant validation for the consumer. You know, they are able to see this. They start taking you a bit seriously. Uh, you start coming into the choice set. You know, for the consumer, it's very important because before that you are just another brand. Once you have certain faces who they connect with, as soon as they are able to endorse you, the trust level on the brand improves. You know, that translates into sales eventually. And then, of course, it's not just that you have to bring a face, you have to use it wisely. You have to use their values very wisely. You have to be very critical of your own thoughts. You cannot just say that, okay, someone has written a script and you go for it. You have to be very, very critical of your own thoughts, of your own campaigns, because you have to use it very responsibly. This is a power which cannot be just used, without thinking 100 times. It's very powerful tool, yes, but it has to be used very, very responsibly. You know, very interesting because it is not just their values plus your connection and how it's going to reflect on your brand, on your product is also very important eventually. You know, because we have always seen successes, generally what we talk about, but there behind successes there are thousands of failures also. You know, so it's important to address everything, you know, and be critical of your own campaigns. But yes, of course, it brings a lot of trust among consumers. So that really helps as a startup, you know, because when you're
So
starting.
usually business owners ko, yeah, even like MSMEs ko, ye marketing pay, people think this is like not an investment but an expense. How do you like relate to it? Yeah, when you even started with
Yeah,
advertising,
this is
for
actually a
you ROI was
traditional.
very clear.
I think this is more of a traditional outlook.
Right.
I know people who've been in business for more than 100 years and they have hardly spent anything, or they are using some outdated tools, or you know they are doing some dated advertising marketing mix. So there are all kinds of people, of course, but definitely advertising is a complete investment because it is building up memories among the consumer, and eventually which is turning out to be demand. It is converting into demand eventually, you know, finally, and that's the cash flow what you need.
Very rightly you said that it's a power to use it in the right way, like, and इसीलिए बहुत सारे failures जो आपने बोला कि even
Yeah.
behind the success story there are so many
Yeah, because
failures.
see, when you start advertising, it's very difficult to first figure out that where should I spend. So according to me, like when people ask me a lot, ki where should we spend? You know, a lot of people come for help as well. I tell them that first figure out your consumer, and then try to get into in their lives, and reach out wherever they live, wherever they are. If they live in a college, go out to the colleges. If you think they are living in homes, they don't step out, then reach out to the RWAs. But start making that effort to reach to them wherever they are. If they're working in offices, reach to the offices. Follow their journey, follow their path, their livelihood, and catch them there. And that's where you'll find your marketing mix.
Right.
You know, so it's fairly simple. So first, figure out your consumer. It's important. Since you are the entrepreneur, you create the product, so definitely you have some idea where consumer lives or what kind of life that person is leading. So I think it's much simpler for the entrepreneur to figure it out. So since he or she thought of this product, found this gap, so I think he or she would be the best person to tell who is the consumer for those products. I think it's very important. And that defines everything, where to advertise and how to advertise. And then you figure out automatically that you put certain money in something, certain resources, and what output you got. And then you figure out that, okay, where your efforts are lesser and your output is more.
So I think you've
That
laid
is your
it
marketing
down.
mix.
I think you've laid it down straight because a lot of people are always in this double mind whether to go for celebrity endorsement or not. But I think as per your stand, you just use it as a power and you figure out and reach out to the people.
Yeah. Then if you feel that there is a trust deficit, you are not able to fulfill the trust. You know yourself that yes, people are not trusting your product. They don't believe in your product or your brand, and somewhere there's a doubt. They like it on the stand, but they don't buy it. I think they need that additional push, additional persuasive power, and that is when you need that additional support, which you should plug in into your campaigns.
आई थिंक सेलिब्रिटी एंडोर्समेंट तो एक ऐसी चीज है जो बहुत सारी कंपनीज का चार्म तो है कि करना है.
Right.
I'm talking about decently established, sizable companies, but somewhere एक ट्रेडिशनल वो है कि हम इतने बड़े थोड़ी हो गए कि हम ये कर लेंगे या एक सेलिब्रिटी को ले आएंगे या मे बी समटाइम्स देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन कि विल इट हेल्प और विल इट नॉट हेल्प. कुछ तो है जो बहुत बार established players को भी
Actually,
रोकता
I
है.
feel that it is the intent on the entrepreneur. I think it's the intent. I think sometimes a lot of these people don't have paternal feelings for their venture.
They don't feel
Like a father
Like a father.
for their companies. I
they're
feel
looking
that-
at it as a transaction.
No, I think a lot of these people, I feel they have inherited their job. They have not really created this job for themselves. So since there are no paternal feelings towards your venture, there is no sense of urgency and love. I think when it's your own child, it's completely different. You know, the sense of urgency and is completely different. You know, you panic on every little thing. You know, and that's important to panic. It's important to take action on that, the right action.
On that urgency, on
That
that
sense, yeah, it is important because as soon as you take actions, you will figure out that yes, whatever money you're spending, it is not working out. Immediately try to put some catalyst into it so that you can multiply that effect. And I think somewhere celebrities are catalysts in the very scientific term. You know, they multiply the reach, and ultimately the persuasiveness of your campaign gets multiplied. I think it's which cannot be measured really on paper, I think. So that is one other thing. And mostly, as you asked me why people are not advertising, you know, I think since their paternal feelings are not there, so they feel that, you know, whatever is happening is fine, and they are pretty much comfortable with the profit which they are making. You know, and rather that profit is very dear to them. What I tell them, why don't you forget the profit for next few years? What's wrong with that? Your livelihood is fine. Just take care of your salary and just put that money back and see the results. And I think it does show results when you start thinking that way. You know, for 1 year, what's harm? Put the money back. Don't make any profit. What will happen? You will not make losses. I'm saying don't make profit. Don't make a loss. But whatever profit you're making, put it back. And see what you'll get. I think you'll end up making more money. I feel.
What you said is so deep, somewhere it has really touched me. Paternal feeling, मतलब brand से प्यार बहुत लोग नहीं कर रहे. And now as you were speaking and I was just reflecting, इतने सारे brands मेरे दिमाग में आ रहे थे कि वही लोग actually एडवर्टाइज और प्यार नहीं कर रहे, जिनको इनहेरिटेंस मिल गया है काम का, वो आ गए कि ठीक है काम करना है, बट द लव फॉर द ब्रांड और लव फॉर द वर्क दे आर डूइंग इज नॉट सो मच.
Yeah, I feel so. I mean, this is just for personal thing.
Yeah, I think
I'm not trying to
beautifully shared.
generalize anyone. Respect to everyone. Whatever they're doing, I'm sure they're doing some great job, and I'm sure there must be challenges. But this is the general.
It's
view
okay. We
of
want
what I've
people
seen.
to rise up from the sleep.
Naturally, I mean, India has so much to offer. Yeah. I mean, I think we can be number one. We can be. I think when everyone starts fighting it out, I think India can be number one, and that's what I believe in. I think it is. I think now a low-hanging fruit to be number one. You know, but still India must go out and achieve it.
Right.
So India की अगर बात करें geography and you are present every nook and corner. I was talking to a friend few years back. I think COVID वाला ही साल था and
Right.
he went to Lansdowne near Mussoorie
Right.
for just a staycation for a week or so. और वहाँ पे ना बड़ी सुनसान सी एक ही दुकान थी जिसपे कुछ थोड़ा बहुत मिलता था.
जी.
And I was talking to them और वहाँ पे भी डेनवर DEO पड़े थे.
Right.
ठीक है, वो कॉन्वर्सेशन कुछ निकली थी उस टाइम पे, बहुत पुरानी बात बता रहा हूँ. और उस टाइम पे ही मेंशन कि यार यहाँ भी एक दुकान है, सिलेक्टेड चीजें मिल रही है, डेनवर DEO पर है. सो आई कैन जस्ट इमेजिन हाउ deeply penetrated, distributed your brand is.
So see, as a salesman, we also travel naturally, and then when we go for holidays, I have also been to that shop. And when I saw that there was nothing available, I made sure that he stocks. So it is.
बाजार जाते हो अभी भी?
Yeah, of course. Bina, see, unless you go and see on the field what is happening, you don't get the realization. You don't realize where you stand because आपको तो office में लगता है ना that yes, you're doing great and numbers are great and they are climbing and this and that. But when you go to the ground, you really see where you stand and what the competition is doing. It's very important. So similarly, going online, going through e-commerce, whatever other people are doing, it's very important to see and learn from it. You know, never say no or never say never, right? I mean, it's very important because it's important to keep learning, good or bad. Even if you don't like their efforts, if it's turning out well for them, you must embrace it. Maybe in your way, but find a way to embrace it. Okay, don't eat it the way or don't take it the way you are not like it, or you know, the way your brand may be not able to accept it, but find a way to bring it in
appreciate it or whatever.
appreciate it,
bring
it, try to bring it in your campaigns in some way. In some way or the other, try to bring in your campaign or your efforts. You must learn from it because if they are, you know, whoever is putting some effort, if that it's giving you results or giving them results, it is worth noting. Also, there are efforts which people make and there are no results. It's important to note them as well.
उनके क्या failures थे जिससे हम सीख सकते हैं या mistakes
Yeah,
थे?
of course. हमेशा गलती करके सीखना तो कोई समझदारी नहीं है ना.
दूसरों की उससे भी सीख सकते हैं.
That's right. That's right. So that's right.
So talking about distribution,
Yeah.
इंडिया की इतनी वेरीड कल्चर, इतनी वेरीड, इतने सारे रिलीजन्स, लैंग्वेजेस, पैन इंडिया होना, बहुत बार क्या होता है हम जहाँ से बिजनेस स्टार्ट करते हैं उस ज्योग्राफी में तो आदमी पुश करके रिलेशन बना के काम कर ही लेता है, बट अ पर्सन कैन नॉट गो एवरीवेयर मेक रिलेशन वो करे. आफ्टर ऑल यू हैव टू यू नो लेवरेज योर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन नेटवर्क टीम मार्केटिंग एंड स्पेशली व्हेन यू आर एक्सपैंडिंग टू डिफरेंट ज्योग्राफीज. तो उसके लिए कुछ set principles, some critical steps that you follow or maybe you followed or maybe आपने गलतियां करी, हाथ जलाए और सीखे, something you can share because इंडिया में as you said scope बहुत है but distribution आना भी अपने आप में एक art है.
See, it's not really an art, I would say. It is very simple. Obviously, you have to start from somewhere. So wherever you think you're comfortable, you should start. Generally, in terms of your resources and wherever you can be yourself, and just you should start. But when you're growing further, of course, in today's time, e-commerce is the thing, you know. So unless you are there, and e-commerce gives you pin code access right there,
Right.
pin code level. You know, as soon as you start through ship rockets of the world, you know, you get pin code access right there. So I think in today's time, distribution is not really that kind of a struggle. But when you're talking about GT, when you're crossing borders, when you get into different states, so naturally it gets sometimes difficult. But I think now advertising is very homogeneous. It is not just that you are focusing a certain state. When you advertise, you are pretty much advertising into a larger region. So it is a sort of a mindset. It's an old mindset that when you're crossing borders within the country, it's a struggle. I don't think it's a struggle anymore. You are already your media is reaching out, your efforts are getting reached out, your product is also already going there. I think you have to just find the courage to, when your P&L allows, just open that market, open that state, and I think eventually you will start getting results. India is not the same India what it used to be. I think if you're selling in Rajasthan, it doesn't mean that the product is not spilling over to Gujarat, or it's not spilling into UP, or it's not spilling into Delhi. I'm sure other markets also have, somewhere consumers have tried and tasted your product.
So it's about just replicating what you've done in your area and then going.
Yeah. So it is just, I think, in your head. I think it's purely in your head. I think it's important to, whenever your hunger allows you, you must keep going. And I don't think there's any other way. There's no real formula to open a market, unless you're saying that, okay, we're talking about a particular vernacular, you reach out to, through that campaign, you'll go advertise in that particular language, and then, so it's a chicken and egg situation. And what comes first is very difficult to decide. So I think you should start your distribution immediately and start advertising in that region, whichever, small or big way, whichever way. I think that's what the idea is, to start generating demand as soon as you look at the market. If you, once your resources allow, immediately you must go for it, rather wasting any time, because what will come first, demand or supply? That is the question. I think either can come first, so there is no set rule.
Right. So एक नया स्टेट लॉन्च करना है, इस पे ना एक चीज़ मेरे दिमाग में आई. Just in last couple of months, I've spoken to 3 founders of now established FMCG products, जो लोग पैन इंडिया काम भी कर रहे हैं. They are very good. I will not take the name. Very good. तीनों में एक चीज़ कॉमन आई मेरे पास. बोले हमें नई स्टेट जाना होता है, हम एक RSM लेते हैं बढ़िया, and we leave everything to him. वो अपनी टीम लाता है, वो खड़ा करता है. अब हर कंपनी के पास एक RSM पे, पूरी टीम पे बर्न करने के लिए बजट नहीं होगा. कुछ लोग की साइकोलॉजी होती है कि हम एक एरिया पकड़ेंगे, एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट पकड़ेंगे, नए स्टेट का 2 डिस्ट्रिक्ट पकड़ेंगे, एक SO एक SM से स्टार्ट करेंगे. सो आपने when you have done your journey, आपने भी क्या RSM philosophy follow करी बहुत ज़्यादा?
Not so much. So what we used to do is, we used to send people from Delhi or other states. Why don't you go there? And they would say, sir, हमने तो स्टेट में काम ही नहीं किया. Then why don't you just go, have a look, meet some people? So कहीं ना कहीं acquaintances लोगों के मिल ही जाते हैं sales में. So they would have some old acquaintances, they would meet people and they would say, okay, so let's hire someone. So we would hire a junior guy, a person like a supervisor or maybe an ASM. And as soon as that person comes, joins us, then we would add 10 different people. And I generally believe in frontliners, because that is where the company is standing. They are bringing your sales. So focus there. And the policies of the company will apply. And whatever challenge they are facing, I think the ASM is there to resolve that, to build that trust on the ground. So I think it can be covered. I don't think you really need an RSM on the day one. I think that can wait. Because first, it's better that if you bring your own old people and give them a better career and add another state, they will feel rather elevated.
Right.
Because when you add an RSM, immediately it brings a certain unrest in your present team also. Because ideally they should have been promoted. So why don't you promote internally, and give them more tasks, increase their JD.
Wow, very good point.
Yeah, and because see, he's already trained, they know your policy, they know the product, they know how to sell them, because they're already selling them in their region. And so 99% of the sales story is complete with them.
They kind of understand the fabric of the company. So उनके
Yeah,
लिए थोड़ा
and
ज़्यादा
markets are
आसान
pretty
है.
much same. I don't think that within the country, the markets are so different. Or the bottom, ultimately, it's about return on investment for the distributors. So that is what matters. And so the sales are important. So sales will happen in the starting if the salesman is able to visit the shops. And then eventually, yes, the demand, when you are able to create that demand in the market, then there's from instead of pushing, there's a pull in the market. I don't think it's a very chicken and egg thing, what came first you can't tell. So whatever you see, you should go after it. And there can be hundreds of ways of saving money.
So I think वही वाली बात है, कोई सोमवार को मंदिर जाएगा, कोई मंगलवार को जाएगा, आपको किस दिन जाना है?
आपकी मर्जी है. And you are no different. ऐसा कुछ नहीं कि आप कम ये हो या कम वो हो. सब बराबर हो. सब बराबर हो.
अभी ये लोकल प्रोडक्ट से चैलेंज आता है आपको?
Local products.
जैसे what I think you can share the story.
So I was sitting in Jodhpur with one of the distributors somehow, and वो एक कोई गुजरात से लोकल कोई DEOs आते हैं वहाँ पे, बोला माल ही नहीं मिलता, शॉर्ट रहता है, ये रहता है, आता है, खत्म हो जाता है. आई वाज जस्ट थिंकिंग कि यार लोकल डीओ आ रहा है, नाम भी बड़ा ऐसा, पैकिंग भी मेरे को उसने दिखाई, इतनी अजीब सी पैकिंग. आई वाज थिंकिंग कि the way you have evolved, grown over the years, तो कहीं ना कहीं बाहर बैठ के हमें लगता है यार परफ्यूम इंडस्ट्री तो बड़ी प्रॉफिट वाली इंडस्ट्री होगी, पर देन दैट वाज द टाइम मैं रियलाइज कि इस पे कितना चिक चिक होता होगा एट रिटेल पॉइंट जाके, डिस्काउंट्स मांगना, प्राइस वॉर होना. बड़े प्लेयर्स तो ऑलरेडी हैं ही who have deeper pockets, पर लोकल चैलेंज भी है अपनी जगह. सो ओवर द ईयर्स जैसे जैसे मार्केट इवॉल्व हुआ परफ्यूम्स का, डिओड्रेंट्स का, इन चीजों के साथ, लाइक हाउ डिड यू डील विद देम?
So, to be very honest, sorry, I missed the question.
सो अभी जब आपने स्टार्ट किया डिओड्रेंट वाज अ लग्जरी, अभी इट्स अ समवेयर इट्स बिकम अ कमोडिटी आल्सो.
It does.
बड़े प्लेयर्स हैं. अभी रिसेंटली आई लर्न गोदरेज bought Park Avenue.
Yes.
That also is into
It's been a
DEO.
while now, 2 years.
Yeah, it's been 2 years. So मतलब बड़े प्लेयर्स तो हैं इतने सारे, और लोकल कंपटीशन भी बहुत है. लोकल भी बड़े सारे
There are
प्लेयर्स
a lot of players. So there are a lot of
emerge हुए हैं.
startups which are coming into the category, and somewhere I enjoy that because there are new ideas which are coming in, and somewhere they are able to identify some gaps, and they are able to fulfill that. So it's very good for us that yes, we are getting new ideas, and we are finding our ways. So
तो स्टार्टअप्स आ रहे हैं इसके अंदर.
yeah, so the new ideas are coming in, how they are approaching the markets are different, they're filling some gaps. And for us, to be very honest, from the starting, I never went out and to create to create a category. I never went out and burnt money on creating a category or creating a habit. I rather followed someone. If someone is going after creating a category, I will go and try to better that. Improvisation. Better the offers. Better in terms of the offering of the product.
The quality of the product and the features of the product. I went as an individual and
Really never went out and tried to create a category because that
Cost.
really, it needs a lot of money,
Yeah.
and it is many times it's a failure. Most of the times when you go out. So I have not gone out and taken that kind of risk because I thought it was not me, and rather there were better opportunities which were there. So I grabbed those. So similarly, with the startups, whatever they are offering, I think that's brilliant, and it is really teaching us a lot. That what we are not doing. Competition is the best teacher that way, and especially the younger ones. Whatever they're doing, I'm sure they're doing something right that they're able to create a market in such a tough competition. Where my team and me are crying that there's so much competition every year, every day, blah, blah, blah. And these people are coming swiftly and I'm sure they must be struggling, and still they're able to create that gap and feed into it. And it's beautiful. We love to learn from them, and we follow them.
And is that the thinking everyone should have in their respective businesses?
100%, anywhere. I remember once I was on a table with someone in the healthcare space, in the path lab business, and we were discussing what is happening in the competition, etc. So I suggested to that gentleman, and why don't you go and understand what the other person is offering? Why don't you try their services? Why don't you try what is happening? That's when you'll know how different they are. And if you're missing something, you'll learn.
Don't rule it out.
Yeah, it is very important to experience what is out there. I read about this some CEO in automotive industry who was driving a competition EV to understand what the competition is offering. There's nothing to be told about. It's a pure business thing. That's his job. And I would say hats off to that fellow. He's doing the right thing. He's doing his job. Because it's important to know what is happening in the competition and how to improve yourself. How to better yourself. It's a constant thing.
So learning from the competition.
Yes, and the newer competition and the younger ones, why not?
This level where you are now, do you also have some mentors who personally you work with?
Yeah, there are mentors, of course.
Even at this level?
There's no level. I mean, the idea is that there's no dearth. I mean,
कोई
there's no limit of
example?
knowledge out there. If you think that you know everything, I think you're a fool. I would say. And for us, it's like daily we come to work, and we find that we don't know this, or we don't know that, this is happening. We don't know. We want to learn from it. What is happening, and many times it has turned out great for us to learn from those some SKUs which are doing well, some formats, some sizes which have done really well, have cracked the market. I mean, I don't think lottery हमेशा लगेगी ना. So don't wait for the lottery. Just go after it. Go after जिसकी लग गई है उससे सीखो क्या क्या लग गया है and just go for it ना. Don't wait कि आपकी अभी लॉटरी लगेगी आप बैठे हो. This is very speculative kind of behavior. I don't think that's good. It's better to learn and pivot, and you never know what just works for you.
Right.
But of course you have to take care of your architecture of your brand. You have to look at your TG. Everything's fine, and you have to try to bring that new format or SKU in your world.
In your way.
In your world, yes. In your world. It's not necessary that you have to do everything what they're doing, but at least adapt, and improvise. It's very important to evolve further towards, what the new markets, new categories, new aspirations. There are a lot of new aspirations.
Keep that evolving.
Wow.
Yeah, because there are a lot of new trends which are coming up. It's very important to just address them. Not to address them is not this is not the right way. You should find a way to address them. It's your problem, not their problem.
Right.
Because you have to make business. You want to make money.
And somewhere you have to
It's your problem.
understand the trend of the market also. So I think how it has unfolded for you, embrace the competition, more the growth.
Yeah, because recently I remember I was watching someone's interview. That fellow was like that they were serving a certain product, that we serve it because we cannot serve fresh. So they were serving a packaged product because that person was saying that he cannot serve that product fresh. That's why they pre-pack it. Whereas world over, that product is served fresh only. So it is the problem of the entrepreneur, not the problem of consumer. Because consumer is too much, I'm not able to service, hence I'm doing packaging. But you have to find your way to serve fresh. It's your problem. It's great that you have business. Firstly, you should be thankful. That you have people coming for your product. So I think this is arrogance in a different way. That this is what I can do, I'm doing because I cannot serve fresh.
And that won't last for long.
I think he should take it as a challenge that I have to now serve fresh to all these consumers who are coming to my door. To each one of them. I think that should be his challenge in life. And he should take it up in a good spirit, and he should deliver it fresh. I think that'll be the fun of the business.
That is the pressure he must take on himself.
He must, why not? And maybe it opens a lot of doors.
Yes.
And then he has his packaging product anyway. He should use this for distribution.
Yes.
Yeah. That
I
opens
feel
up to
there's
business.
so much can be done. But how can you say that because there's so much demand, I am not able to fulfill, hence I have done this. You cannot take away the experience. If it exists in the 99% of in the competition, and you're taking away the experience.
So they won't last in business that long in that way.
Maybe it could be lasting, but it won't grow. Yeah. So that means it's stagnated to where it was. Because the idea is not to multiply. I think that you must find solution to deliver it to consumer the way the consumer likes. And then once you've done that completely and you're sort of, you've covered that bit, that's when you look out to reach out the other bit where, you're able to, you're saying that, okay, I can have a smaller kiosk where I need to do faster. Okay, there. Where I cannot personally be there or I cannot put a service.
Then I can do
Yeah, I can do pre-packed. But it cannot be your main game. Because main game should be fresh, ideally. But, well, everyone is to each his own, I guess.
So now, as we stand already an established brand,
Right.
big brand, pan
Thank
India, exports, everything is happening, all the celebrities, everything.
Right.
What drives you for the next? What next? And what is driving you?
See, I figured out that I am not very good at any other job but this. So might as well. And might as well just keep doing what I enjoy also and I know as a job. So I'm just doing that. And naturally, once you, I mean, you have to just set your targets. So once you achieve something, of course, it should already become historical before you achieve it for you. You should see much further ahead and grow. And I think that after a certain point which we have achieved already as a company, I think there's so much more which can be done. So much more. So we are setting up much higher targets and trying to achieve. Now we are like, the idea is to be that we set a new target that we want to be present in a certain number of countries, in 35 countries, and we are now scaling up there and trying to be, there's no reason for that number, but it just came up as it was just someone's
So
thought.
keep
and
pushing the goal ahead in a way.
ahead, yeah, just keep moving ahead, and try to keep up with our targets. Coming from sales, obviously, वो target ही क्या जो achieve हो जाए. Coming from the management, no, मगर target भी achieve करने हैं from the team side, if I say. So, we have to set targets and we have to keep moving. That's the time, and it's fun, to create brands, to be able to create new products, and and see them sell, and people demanding them. When I visited
That
there,
drives you personally.
a lot, it is fun. It is really good to see when someone is asking for your product. It is a great feeling. I think, as I told you, paternal feelings.
Yeah, I was relating to that only.
Yeah, it is something like that. It is something like that.
Wow.
Yes.
Anything, any last piece of
Coming to
advice coming as we close, coming to the
So
closure?
I feel
you want
that
to
as a last piece of advice, I would tell everyone, whoever is watching me, that just follow your passion or your dreams or whatever you have. Just keep achieving. Don't stop. Don't stop. That yes, you have achieved and settled. No. There's no end to what you can achieve. I think there's so much can be done, and don't stop trying. Don't be scared of new things. Keep trying new things, and that's when you'll hit gold. When you will not try, how will you know that what you'll get and what can be done with it? Look at technology today, where it's gone. Because we all tried to create it, and we are bettering it. And now, today on a forum, we were talking, and someone wrote that technology is eating technology.
Yeah.
It's so true. So let's keep striving, and keep fighting.
एक लास्ट चीज मेरे को याद आ रही है. रिसेंटली आई वाज स्पीकिंग टू यू एंड यू वर टेलिंग मी यू आर ऑलवेज वर्किंग विद द 5-year LRP.
Yeah.
Can you just explain a bit about it?
So LRP is like long range planning. It's a regular thing. I think everyone does it. We also do it. It gives you a lot of heads up where you're heading and what you need in terms of your resources.
So you plan for 5 years basically.
Yeah, every moment we have a 5-year plan ready.
So you keep making ahead for the next 5, for the next 5.
That's right. So it's important to see ahead and whatever resources are required so that they're fulfilled for the organization.
So क्या plan बनाते हैं आप? You put your numbers, you put
Yeah, numbers,
the
of course,
investment.
it's about the numbers. And if the numbers, and then the categories, and naturally the performance, what you expect from yourself. It must be put in paper. And that's when you'll achieve it. If you will not put a number to yourself, to your performance, you won't be able to achieve it. So it's important to put it. Put some number, at least. Put anything and try to achieve it. And
But
once
at least make the plan.
And when you month on month you're able to achieve it, then you're able to make an annual plan, and that annual plan will help you make a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan, and then go after it. And then at what juncture, what kind of resources are required. At some point, you'll feel that your warehouse is short, it's too small for you. At some point, you feel that your working bank limits are too less for you. So you will have visibility of those milestones, and you'll start working ahead for that, so that everything becomes seamless, so that you don't start working when you already needed it. You have to start working when.
And it's about you consciously creating it rather than just, I think,
Yeah.
going with the flow.
Yeah, naturally. And when your plan is there, when you're writing it, you are also aware of whatever you're writing and what you're putting on that long-range plan. So, and then you can also opens up that what all can be done with the resources which you might have in future. So you have some time to plan ahead. That okay, maybe after 2 years you'll have that kind of money, and when you'll have that kind of money, you can do so much more with this. So you can do your wealth management or resource planning way ahead. So that time you are not in a puzzle. Right. So you can already start working towards those future goals or future situations. It's like running a simulation actually ahead. So you don't have to worry that way, that your homework is ready.
Awesome.
If those numbers don't come, it's fine. It will come eventually, maybe after 6 months. Yeah. But at least your homework is done.
It's not a question of,
It
it's
saves
a question
lot
of
time,
when.
and it reduces a lot of stress also. It reduces a lot of stress, I think.
Right.
And I think with stress, I feel many times stress causes wrong decisions. So at least try to stay away from that. Hasty ones. Yeah, I think the LRP really helps you in that, cool-headed decisions, and gives you time, to plan, because in those times maybe a lot of new things might come, new technology, etc., new services which will help you further up your game. So that scope is always there.
I think we had a great time. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the
Most welcome.
learning.
Absolutely.
Great.
मेरे को तो अभी right अभी after this I want to have a diary, note down many things that have been going in my mind.
Anytime. You can always listen, and you can call me. You can call me to cross check. But yeah, I think the whole thing is to if you put on LRP, in a way, somewhere it motivates you. That only motivates you itself. अपने आप ही आपको motivate करता है. Because it's important to be in the cycle, na. What's wrong with that?
Important to be in the game.
Yeah. And pre-plan. If you need certain skills, you add them. If you need certain resources, you build them, create them. At least think towards them.
Right.
सिर्फ सोचने से नहीं होगा ना, कुछ करना भी पड़ेगा उसके लिए, I think.